And welcome to another edition of Toast and Jam here. Again, broadcasting live from the Viking Broadcast Studio and the Rhodes Science Center here on the campus of Valley City State University. Kind of a special show that we have today. Of course, Tuesday, we normally record on Tuesday. Veterans Day, campus was closed, so we are doing the show here on Wednesday, and still with that Veterans Day theme, honoring those veterans who have and are currently serving in the military. And joining me in the studio here today, we have two Valley City State University students who are Guard members, and we are joined here by Ava Baasch and also by Jaydin Rombs. I got that right?
Yep.
Okay, I'll make sure I get it right. And, okay, we'll start with you, Ava. I know you're in the Guard because we've talked before. You do some photography for us in the sports department. What made you get into the Guard? Why did you choose to get into the Guard?
I honestly was never planning on joining the Guard. It was spur of the moment kind of thing. The recruiter was sitting in our library, and I walked up to him and was like, I want to join. And then I didn't want to back out, but a lot of my family has been in the military, and so I had like 1 year of my life without any of that because they had all retired, and I really missed it. And so I was like, I'll just do it for myself, and so I joined.
Okay. Jaydin, how about you?
So mine's kind of a similar situation. I had family in the military, but I always wanted to be in as a little kid. And then my junior year of high school, decided we'll go through with it. And then, just went and enlisted.
And you both mentioned family. Are they currently in the military? Jaydin, I'll start with you. Or were in the Guard or were in the military?
So my great-great-grandpa was active duty, and he served in Vietnam.
Okay.
And was in that. And then I was around him a lot growing up, so I
Sure.
heard a lot of stories. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ava, how about you?
Okay, so my great-grandpa was in the Navy, and a lot of his siblings, I believe, and then my cousin is currently in, my mom, my dad, and a guy that I call my bonus dad. They were
Yeah.
all in, they all retired. And then also, believe one of my other grandpas was also in the Guard for
Okay.
a while. So,
So,
there's a lot.
like you said, you've kind of grown up around it, so it's been a part of your life. And I know the answer to this, but let people know where you what Guard are you out of? We're stationed.
I'm with the 815th Engineers out of Lisbon.
Okay. And Jaydin, how about you?
I'm with the 740th Transportation out of Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Okay, out of Aberdeen. Colby, our producer's from Aberdeen, so I'm sure they really appreciate the Aberdeen shout-outs that we have here. Now, you mentioned you're in transportation. So what is your area of expertise?
So we mainly drive like the big 915 semis. My unit's one of the only ones that still has those trucks. But then we learn how to basically just transport anything that a unit would need.
Okay,
Yeah.
so a big U-Haul.
Yeah.
A military-grade trailer. No, I'm not. Ava, how about you? What's your kind of area of expertise?
So I'm a 12 November horizontal construction engineer. So my job is building berms, digging take ditches, airstrips if like on deployment they do a lot of those, and roads. We go in like before the front lines. That's like when our job is supposed to go because we have to go build up the berms for the front lines to go so they have protection.
Okay. Have you done any like dikes or anything during floods situation? I suppose you're too young for that kind of situation yet.
I haven't yet, but the unit has.
The unit has,
Yes.
yeah. I would say you're still too young to and do any of the major floods that have
Yeah.
been in and around our area that we have here. Now, I guess Jaydin Ava, I'll start with you on this. Is what kind of skills have you learned and really gained from your experience in the Guard?
The biggest thing is working with people of diverse backgrounds, which I think is great, especially with my major. You go through some things and you're like, what's happening here? And then you just learn to work with it and figure out how to cope with changes a lot. And that's probably the big thing, is I've just been more adaptable.
Okay. Elementary ed?
Yes.
Okay. Jaydin, how about you?
I pretty much the same thing Ava said. Like, you really learn how to like do everything last minute, which is very against everything of how I am. But I've learned how to just get used to being uncomfortable
Okay.
and being in those situations where you don't really know what's going on, but you're just there waiting. So
So you kind of stepped out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
And so grown a little bit as an individual as well with this. What is your major?
I'm music education and psychology.
Okay. So what would you like to do with that major? What's your plan after you're done at VCSU?
My plan is to go teach high school. The end goal would probably be college.
Okay.
Just takes a little bit longer of school, but
Music?
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then you can be a psychologist on the side.
Well, I think psychology is just a really good thing to have
Sure.
as a teacher.
Okay.
So
Good.
yeah.
Well, yeah, you're dealing with people.
Yeah.
And young people at that. Elementary ed, what would you like to get to when you get down the line here?
I'm actually planning on going straight for my master's as well, but I would love to teach like 2nd and 3rd grade. Those are my people.
Okay.
You know?
And I know you're working at Washington Elementary right now, I think, kind of helping out. Is that where you here in town?
I'm actually at the Circle of Friends preschool.
Circle of Friends
Yep.
Preschool. So that's where you're getting your feet wet.
Yes.
Working with the young people. I guess final question for you two ladies. Ava, I'll start with you. Just you look at the Guard and just the commitment that you have to do. What are the commitments that you have to do as a member of the National Guard?
So we have our drills 1 weekend every month, 2 weeks in the summer. That's a little bit of a lie, but that's okay. And then on top of that, there's schools you can attend that they push you to attend to further your career. So like if you want to become an E5 sergeant, you have to attend special courses. So a lot of it is optional, and they also push you to get an education. So with all the benefits they offer.
Right.
So
I know that there's a lot of plans where the Guard can help you financially
yes.
with your college, and that's probably one of the biggest perks
Yes.
with it. Jaydin, how about you?
Well, I just find it like Ava said, it's 2 weeks or 2 weeks in the summer,
Yep.
2 days a month. But I think that like with the schooling benefit, it's really nice. But there's also many of our opportunities to like transfer civilian stuff to like the military side and vice versa. Like there's a lot of courses you can take military side that when you get out and you're not in anymore, you still have something to do, like civilian wise, that they
Right.
can train you with. So
Okay. And with you too, the financial help with education goes a long way, doesn't it?
it helps.
It does, and
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a motivating factor. But then getting a chance to help others by being a member of the Guard, and being in 2 different states, South Dakota and North Dakota. Have you compared notes? Is everything pretty much the same? Is there a little bit of a difference?
So being in the South Dakota Guard, I don't get the tuition benefits that North Dakota Guard does just because I'm attending an out-of-state university. But I still get the same like experience within the military.
Sure.
It just doesn't transfer like tuition benefits and stuff. But
Okay. And so have you talked about it though? I'm sure you've compared notes a little bit.
Yeah, there's some things, obviously, we're different MOS, so we have different things that we do. But there's some things that we'll be talking, it's like, oh, something for me is a set schedule, and then I'm over here like, no, it's kind of random weekends, but it's interesting.
It's fun. It's interesting that you and the camaraderie that you have too with other people. Are there other folks that you all? I'll start with you, Ava. That you know that are in the Lisbon that are here, or are you the only one?
I'm the only Lisbon, but Lisbon is connected to Wishick, and there is a student on campus from that unit.
From that unit,
Yes.
okay. A lot from Aberdeen. Do you know of that are here on campus or no?
Colby's the only one from Aberdeen, but he's not in the Guard. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of the lone wolf.
Yeah.
As far as the Guard is concerned
Yep.
here on campus.
Yep.
But have a lot of and a lot. This is the final question. I know I keep saying that, but this will be the final question. Any schoolmates and classmates from Aberdeen that you know of that went on and that are in the Guard elsewhere, in South Dakota? Or,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a few that you do know that continued on.
Yep, and even somewhat active duty as well. So
Okay.
a lot of people went and joined.
How about you, Ava, from that down in that area?
There's one other, she also joined the 815th with me, and she's attending UJ for nursing.
Okay.
Right now,
Okay. Cool. Well, ladies, again, we thank you for what you're doing as members of the Guard and prolonged careers. Maybe. I mean, what is in a couple years? Or you'd like to probably stay in a little
I
longer?
would like to stay,
Okay.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
Here.
Yeah.
As long as you
Medical
possibly
stuff.
can.
Yes.
As long as you can.
Yes.
All right. Well, again, we have Jaydin Rombs and and Ava Baasch joining us, two Valley City State University students that are in the Guard Aberdeen unit and the Lisbon unit here in North Dakota. And again, with the Veterans Day that we had here on Tuesday, we do appreciate what they do and everybody that are members of the Guard in the military, what they do here for our country. And speaking of that, Tim Ost, of course, you notice he's not here. Toast is not in the studio. But he had a chance to talk with a gentleman by the name of Dave Melgaard. Now, Dave was a longtime business professor here on campus at VCSU. He also has a scholarship that is named in his honor, and he is a veteran. Well, Tim had a chance to chat with Dave here up in Fargo the other day. A nice conversation, and so we're going to turn over the rest of Toast and Jam over to Tim Ost and his conversation with former VCSU professor and veteran Dave Melgaard.
We have a very special guest on our podcast, Toast N Jam, presented by Valley City State University. With us today is Dave Melgaard. Dave, nice to have you along.
Thank you, Tim. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Dave Melgaard, a familiar name, former professor of business at Valley City State University for a number of years, but also served the country. Let's talk about that first of all. Your service, when was that?
Well, I joined North Dakota National Guard in 1966 when I was a young man growing up in Botna, North Dakota. And during that particular time, Vietnam War was on, so it was a very tough time in the country, and serving my country was just one of the things that I wanted to do. My brother's already in. My brother-in-law was in Vietnam at the time. And so for me, it just seemed like the right thing to do for my country.
Okay, so you joined, not drafted.
Yes, I joined the National Guard, but I would have been drafted, I do believe, very shortly because at that particular time I wasn't going to college at that time. So,
well, all of us growing up at that time were watching the TV to see what draft numbers were coming up.
No doubt about that. I remember, I think I was 151. I think they drafted me on that. So it's just one of the things that happens.
Well, you were part of the honor flight, which has been going on for quite a few years now out of the Fargo-Moorhead area, and you got a chance to go this past spring, and what a memorable time.
Yeah, the honor flight that I was on flew out of Fargo on September 28th. That was a Sunday. We returned on a Tuesday, and it was just quite an experience. To me, the word I've used before with my family is undescribable, because it's just one of the things that veterans are able to do with a lot of other veterans. For example, on our two flights, the two airplane flights, we had an Alpha flight and a Bravo flight. There are approximately 177 people on each airplane, with about 100 veterans, and then the rest are all support staff and people who were there to help the veterans through the process of getting onto the airplane, getting off airplanes, and getting to see all the monuments that were there.
Did you have to wait a long time to get on this flight?
You apply probably 2.5 years prior, so I waited that particular time until my number was called, and then they called one day and said, you're on the next flight, and this is what and how you're going to do that. And so the paperwork that we received at home to work with was just fantastic. The directions were there, getting to the right meetings at the right time, preparing for the flight itself.
And what's so awesome, this is free to all the veterans.
Oh, yes, veterans fly free. All the money that is raised through the North Dakota, Minnesota Veterans Honor Flight is paid for, so veterans fly free, but all support staff pay their own way. And like I said, there's a lot of support staff that come along just to help the veterans through the whole process.
A lot of sightseeing, a lot of bonding. One memorable moment that sticks out?
I think the most memorable moment for me is the changing of the guard at the Arlington Cemetery. It's a very solemn period of time. Nobody's talking, nobody's yelling, nobody's coughing, nobody's doing anything except watching the guards as they march. They do 21 steps one direction, stand for 21 seconds, and then turn around, do 21 steps back. And it's really a process. You can hear the sounds of the boots. You can hear the sounds as they turn. And the process itself is just so dedicated to the fallen hero, and in that particular case, it's somebody who's unknown.
So you'd recommend this flight to the veteran?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I would hope that any veteran who qualifies would apply or find out how to apply. Go to the website for the North Dakota, Minnesota honor flight, and you can find the paperwork right there and apply, because like I said earlier, there is a little over 2 year waiting time to get onto the flight. And who knows what happens in that particular time, because none of the veterans on the flight are young people.
No. And wheelchairs, too. I mean, a lot of wheelchairs.
Yeah, they bring 65 wheelchairs along, and the wheelchairs come off the airplane and go under the buses, and there's somebody to help the veterans at any given time, especially the ones that need wheelchairs. They're the first ones off the bus, and we take care of those veterans first before any of us get off the bus and start looking at one of the monuments.
What were your duties in the Guard?
In the National Guard, I was a combat engineer. We were part of the North Dakota Army National Guard, headquartered out of Bismarck, and I was part of the Minot group. In Botno, we had a unit there, and we were combat engineers, so we did building projects and road projects and those particular types of things.
And basics, where was that?
I was down at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
That's God's country down there.
Well, it's sort of God's country, except if you're down there when another fellow National Guard member and I made it down there on the 6th of July in 1966, and it was hot and it was muggy, and we weren't used to that coming from Botno, North Dakota at all.
I remember my brother also went into the Guards back in the 70s, and he said the same thing. Fort Leonard Wood, oh my gosh, humidity was a killer.
Humidity was really, really tough. And then, of course, when you're starting out in basic training, you're carrying a little gear with you and a rifle, and it was just a tough time for kids who weren't from that particular part of the country.
Are you still in contact with some of the people that you were associated with in the Guard?
I am with a few of those. My brother actually has passed away now. He passed away in 1971, but he spent 40 years in the Guard. He spent most of the time in the North Dakota Army National Guard, and then he also was from Minnesota, but he came back for the Army Band, the 188 Army Band. He was part of that group, and so he spent 40 years. So we do have some history in our family of National Guard.
And I think we all do here in North Dakota. It seems like a lot of kids went over very, very young.
Boy, there's no doubt about it. Some enlisted, some were drafted. Some had choice of service if they wanted to do Navy or Air Force or Coast Guard or Marines, whatever it happens to be. Of course, if you were drafted, then you didn't have much of a choice but to go into the Army. But a lot of young people at that particular time, that when I was growing up, were in the Army or Air Force or one of the military services.
What's so amazing back then was it wasn't just one sibling in the family. It was like brothers, like 3-4 brothers that would go.
Yes, at the time that I enlisted in the North Dakota National Guard, like I mentioned before, my brother was already there, and my brother-in-law, who had been drafted, was in Vietnam. So there are 3 from our family who were in the service all at the same time. But my family history, we have a history of military service. I had 2 uncles who served in the Second World War. I had 2 uncles and a brother-in-law who served during the Korean War. Numerous cousins that served either in the full-time service or part of the North Dakota National Guard, but we have a long history in our family of military service.
Well, again, thanks for your service, and we appreciate it very much.
You're welcome, and thank you, Tim, for the interview.
Well, I tell you what, we're not done yet, though, because now we've got the second part of this interview, and that is there's a scholarship at Valley City State University. Now, you were a professor of business at Valley City State for how many years, Dave?
Well, I spent 33 years full-time at Valley City State, and part of that time I was an instructor in business education, business administration, but I also worked with the North Dakota Vocational Association, or the North Dakota Career and Technical Education Association, and worked in that program as well for about 20 years.
Well, there's a scholarship in your name now, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about the story. You told me, and I thought it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, some years ago we hired a young teacher who came out of Watford City, and when she moved to Valley City to become a college professor, she was a single mom, and she brought 2 young children with her, and she didn't know much about higher education at that particular point of teaching, or how long or how well she'd be able to do that, but her name was Dawn Olson, and she is just an extremely well qualified and a great college professor. As a matter of fact, she went on to earn a doctorate in education from UND during the time that she was teaching at Valley City State. But when she came, she had that young family, and I told my wife, and I said, we just need to take care of this woman. We don't want her to get away because she's just going to be a real dandy as far as our education is concerned, and she was more than that. She was more than expected. And during that particular time, she and I traveled some together for the North Dakota Vocational Association, so I got to know Dawn fairly well.
Okay, and very good. And that led to, I guess, her thanks back to the college and you.
Yes, it sure did. She appreciated how I had helped her, had been her mentor for a period of time, and helped her get through the tougher period of time when she was a single mom. She remarried. She remarried to a person named Les Olson from Jamestown, and did very well. He had a case implement dealer out of Jamestown and Dickinson and some other spots, and so they moved back to Williston, where she was the vice president for academic affairs. And they also had a place down in Dickinson, and down there, she was the head of the Dickinson, I believe it was the business ed department for a period of time. So she did extremely well, but she appreciated the help that she got from my family and I during the time that we were there. And Dawn started a scholarship in the name of David Melgaard. So there's a David Melgaard scholarship that she started, and it's still going today.
How many years now for the scholarship?
That would have been 2010, the first year that we started the scholarship, and so she actually started the scholarship by putting a nice sum of money into it, and we've kept that scholarship going. My family and I have kept the scholarship going through the years, and so now we're able to give 2 scholarships from the David Melgaard Scholarship.
Any particular department, or is it the business department?
Well, the business department, business education or business administration or career and technical education, those are the people that qualify. And I don't have anything to do with the scholarship any longer except try to help fund it, and the departments take care of that. And so they pick the people. We get to meet them every year. We get to meet the scholarship recipients every fall, and we just had 2 that we met this last fall, and it's just a joy to be able to say that I was a small part of their learning experience.
Yeah, very good. And what year did you retire?
I retired in 2011. I sort of retired in 2011 because as we were finishing up the career and tech ed degree and working on that, as I was finishing up my part, I guess, working on that, we were doing online classes, and Rick Ross, who'd taken my position, asked if I'd be willing to teach an online class, 1 each semester. And I said, I'd be happy to do that for you, for Rick and for the college. So I did that for another 7 years. So I guess it was just a little longer than 33 full-time years.
Hey, that's pretty awesome. Looking back at your time, you saw Valley City State grow, and now we see the growth even more. It's got to make you just smile when you see what's happening at Valley City State.
Oh, it does. It does. The enrollment is the highest it's been, and it takes an army of people. I like that term since we talked earlier about the military, but it takes an army of people to get all of that done. And enrollment is strong. The buildings are there. We have the new buildings coming up, and what has happened at Valley City State is just something that I would not have imagined when I retired to have happened that quickly. And I think, our thanks goes out to people like Larry Robinson, who, of course, has passed away now, and Corey Anderson and Dr. LaFave, and the people who have worked so hard to make Valley City State the best college in North Dakota. And
I've always said Valley City State University has always seemed to have good leadership.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. The first person I worked for all the way up to the period of time now, that the leadership has just been so good and have their hearts in it, and it wouldn't happen. The growth would not be there if it weren't for the leadership that Valley City State has had.
All right, any closing thoughts?
No, just thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast. I appreciate it very much, and it's fun to talk about Valley City State, and go Vikings.
Thank you, Dave. Dave Melgaard, thank you for your service again.
You're welcome, Tim.
All right, Dave Melgaard, our guest this week on Toast and Jam. Let's take a look at today in sports history. November 11th On this day, 1981, Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Fernando Valenzuela becomes first MLB rookie to win a Cy Young Award. Milwaukee Brewers' Raleigh Fingers takes home the AL Award. 1987, Boston Red Sox starter Roger Clemens wins back-to-back AL Cy Young Awards. Philadelphia Phillies starter Steve Bedrosian takes home the NL Award. On this day, 1997, Canadian-based players win Cy Young Awards for Best MLB Pitcher. Toronto Blue Jays, again, Roger Clemens wins his fourth AL Award. Pedro Martinez of the Montreal Expos takes home the National League Award. On this day, 2002, Belgian tennis star Kim Clijsters beats American Serena Williams 7-5, 6-3 to win the season-ending WTA Tour Championship at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Some of the happenings on this day in sports history, November 11th. Sports birthdays, kind of a short list. Born on this day, 1950, Otis Armstrong, College Football Hall of Fame running back with Purdue, also played with the Denver Broncos, played in a Super Bowl 1974 and 76, and he passed away in 2021. Fuzzy Zeller, I love that first name. Fuzzy Zeller, 73 today, American golfer, won the U.S. Masters in 1981 and the U.S. Open in 1984. Mark Sanchez, celebrating a birthday today, is 38, retired NFL quarterback, played with the Jets, Eagles, Redskins, and Bears. Some other birthdays, Leonardo DiCaprio, actor and producer, is 50 today. Demi Moore, actress, 62. And Jonathan Winters, born on this day, 1925, passed away in 2013. Funny man, Jonathan Winters, still one of my favorites. And my son Shane, celebrating a birthday tomorrow. Yeah, the Shanester turns 33. Happy birthday, Shane. And that is going to do it for us. Today, by the way, is Veterans Day. We'd like to salute all of our men and women, veterans past and present. Thank you for your dedication and service in keeping our country safe. And that'll do it for another Toast and Jam podcast presented by Valley City State University. Hey, we'll do it again next week. Thank you to our guests and you, the listener, for joining us. Bye-bye for now.